Hello and welcome to Read Becca. Today we're going to predict the future. Or possibly just guess really well. That's probably what this is going to be, but it's going to be fun. I decided to do predictions for 5-star reads in 2021, and that was before I started a channel. So I was just kind of tracking it on my own, and I had a really fun time doing that. That's something you see a lot of people do here on BookTube. And I read a few of those books. I set that list at 10 things, and I'm going to maintain 10 things. So we're going to run through the couple books I did read and how I did with my predictions, and then we're going to replace those books. So I am going to carry over all the books that I didn't get to from my previous list last year, because those were things that were mostly from my last year's TBRs for the year that I have decided to completely wipe out. So keeping them on this list and having a plan to get to items from this list is a way to keep the things that I really thought were going to be favorites on my radar and not just let them fall away because I've removed those TBR lists. So let's get into the books. So number one of the 3 books that I read is going to be Network Effect by Martha Wells. And I 5-starred it! Yay! So starting off on a good note. I really enjoyed this. I loved the whole series, and that's why I had it on my list. This is all about murder bots. This is the first novel length in the Murderbot series, and this really gave Murderbot the room to breathe that the character needed. And this one is so focused on Murderbot dealing with complicated emotions and conflicting feelings about their relationship with people and caring about people, and that I absolutely loved. As well, my favorite of the novellas was the second book, Artificial Condition, or second novella, and I love that one because of the relationship between Murderbot and Art. And Art comes back in this novel, so this just hit me on so many levels that this was a really, really great book, and it was definitely a 5-star. The second one was The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. Yet again, a series. This is the 3rd in the Lady Astronaut series, and I put it on here because I loved the previous 2 following character Elma York, but this one was a little bit iffy because this has a new protagonist, Nicole Worgan, and it was a 5-star, so I'm doing really well on my picks here. I absolutely love this because, unlike Elma, this was just utter competence porn. She is this savvy politician's wife, so she's very socially and politically intelligent. She is super smart as an astronaut. She is getting caught up in this situation where on Earth there is a lot of conflict going on and strife about what's happening with the world and the kind of climate change that this situation that they're in that's accelerated the space race has caused. And then in addition, things are kind of increasingly going wrong. So she is caught up in the situation of looking for whether there is actually sabotage going on and if there are spies on the moon. So it was just fun and entertaining, but so smart and with a great, great protagonist that I could get behind. So every element of this was great for me. So this was a definite 5-star. My last book read from my 2021 predictions is Ascent to Godhood by Neon Yang, and this is the 4th and final novella in the Tensorate series, and it was a 5-star read for sure. So this one is a story from a woman who is sitting in a bar. She's a little tipsy and she's telling us her life story, how she came from a peasant to a courtesan to the right-hand woman of a very powerful lady. And it's so interesting because the styling is really different. I mean, it's in second person because she's telling us, the reader, the story. It is fairly low on magic compared to the rest of the series, and what was neat about this one is that the magic does express in kind of like Magitech ways where it's really advanced technology almost. So that was very cool. But this whole series has been wonderful for me. That's why I knew this was going to be a pretty safe prediction. These were all sequels that I've loved the previous books in the series. The third and fourth now for this series were both 5 stars. This whole setting is amazing. It's got this wonderful silk punk Asian style, but it's really innovative. There are interesting gender elements where gender is not fixed and it's kind of chosen at adulthood, and we really got to see that in the first novella. But then we see from this character that because she lived in kind of a more rural place, her gender was fixed, and that was more of a societal construct depending on where you were at in this world. So very, very cool, really in-depth, rich world building here, along with the magic system, which is, like I said, we get kind of magitech in this one, but in previous cases it has been very mystical and unanswered how it works, and it's been this pulling on the threads of the universe. So we've got really rich world building, and I just have enjoyed this series so much. I waffled a ton on this last novella being on my favorites list, and in the end I think I really, really enjoyed it. But the series as a whole is for sure in my top favorites of all time. I absolutely adore the Tezzeret series and am very pleased to have had another 5-star in this series. So that is it for my 5 stars that I read, and that was 3 for 3, so I did really great. I have a little less sequels remaining of the stuff that I have yet to read. So let me flip the camera and we will quickly run through what's on my list. Beginning my list, we have Tower of Living and Dying by Anna Smith Spark. This is the second in the Empires of Dust series. This is a big, expansive, grimdark series with really stylistic prose that I enjoyed so much. Because of that prose, I tend to recommend people actually check out the Kindle sample first because it is very, very divisive. But I loved the first book, so I highly recommend checking that one out, and I am really looking forward to getting back into this one. Empress of Forever is some kind of wild science fantasy. Sounds like just my sort of thing, where someone from our world gets flung into an epic space opera. Semyosis Suberk follows strange alien plant first contact and a multi-generational saga. Middle Game by Shannon McGuire is an interesting and dark book, from what I hear, about twins Roger and Dodger, who one of them is specialized in math and the other one is specialized in words, and somehow either they're trying to become gods or they're being exploited for godhood, something to that effect. I've really enjoyed McGuire's previous work, and I'm looking forward to this one. Hollow Kingdom by Kyra Jane Buxton has been on my radar since it came out, and it has only since ramped up in expectations for me, as I've seen books with Brittany loved it, and Kim from the Paper Traveler has read both this and the sequel that's already out and loved them. So this one follows a domesticated crow named Shit Turd, and he goes by ST. His owner starts acting weird. It is the beginning of a zombie apocalypse. So ST and his friend, the pet dog, go on an epic journey. The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez follows the arrival of a strange boy who only speaks through music and a woman who takes him in. They set off on an epic space journey, I think. This one was up for one of the major awards aligned with the Hugos that I didn't quite get to reading all of the nominees for. And this one was top of my list of interests last year. So I know quite a lot of people who have read and loved this one. Almost everyone that I know who has similar tastes to me thought this was a new favorite. So very excited to get into this one, and I believe Jimenez has another book, not directly related to this one, coming out this year. The Beauty by Alia Whiteley is set in a future or dystopia where there are no women anymore, and the men only tell mythic stories of their existence until one day a boy stumbles upon a place where the women were buried and it's overgrown with fungus. It sounds weird and wonderful, and Whitley is someone that has been on my to-watch list. Her new book Skyward Inn is, I believe, out in the UK already and about to come out in the US, and I'm really intrigued to pick that one up as well, so I want to get to this one first. The first of my new additions this year is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I have read Sloan's work before in Sourdough, really enjoyed the mix of the contemporary feeling with a slight magical twist, and I think this will be the same. On the much less whimsical end, I've got The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Kolbert. This is all about the history of where we are today and how we're in an era of extinction, and the impact of humanity and where we want to go from here. Last but not least, we have The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. In this setting, we've discovered travel between universes in a multiverse, and one woman can travel between 300 and some odd of them because she has died in the most worlds. So I think we're exploring her history and her adventures as she's traveling between these worlds. I'm looking forward to getting into this one. This is yet another one of those that was major in the awards that I didn't quite get to do with the Hugos, and everyone that I know that has read it seems to really like it. So I think this one is maybe an iffy pick. It could be a 4 or 5 star. We will see though. Hopefully it will be a new favorite. So those are my selections for 5-star predictions for 2022 and my wrap up for 2021 from what I read. So which of these do you think I am gonna love as a 5-star, and which do you want to see me get to first? Thanks so much for watching.